So what are they going to call themselves? The sort of reaching middle-aged men on the block.
They're pushing 40, so why do we think this is going to be successful?
I think there's a huge dose of nostalgia, even just the way we're talking about it now.
Well, look, this is them now. Look at them. There they all are, looking... Well,
Very
frankly, they
slick.
all look like estate agents to me, or somebody
well,
involved in a
one of them
DIY
is
shop.
actually an estate agent, so that's how he's made his living, so that was very well timed. But yes, where is the hair gel? Where is the sort of, they used to have long hair with sort of short sides, remember that? Lots
Yeah,
of
we've all been
earrings,
there, yeah.
You know, the smiley face T-shirts and the jeans that were rolled up at the bottom with the white socks. I wonder, you know, singing these songs, if they're going to go back and do this huge nostalgia tour and sing us all these great 80s hits, are they going to put those 80s clothes on again? Because I don't see quite how the clothes go with the music.
And also 80s dance moves as well, all that
Exactly.
spinning
They've been
around,
together
break
for that.
dancing.
Yeah, they started those dances, which I'm sure have been seen. It's now their dance moves have now passed on into the lexicon of embarrassing uncle dancing.
There's Malika at the back.
But you know, we've seen so many groups come back. The Spice Girls, for example, just had the reunion.
Take that.
Take that, of course, the big one. Is there a market for these nostalgia tours, for example?
I think so. What's interesting about the Spice Girls was not only the people who bought the albums the first time around went to see them, but they got a whole new audience. I mean, I was surprised some of my young cousins who are in their early teens went to see the Spice Girls. Now, you would think that it would be sort of the people who were buying the records the first time round. However, not all the reunions are hugely successful. I mean, I think Boyzone, no, there's a couple who haven't
never finished,
They never
unfortunately.
finished, they're
Still
still
going.
around. But there are some that aren't very successful. I think there's a difference between the bands that get together, let's say, you know, Led Zeppelin, The Police, The Eagles,
Yeah.
you know, they're doing reunions because they are still so fantastic and there's nobody to beat them.
Right.
Then these guys fall strictly into the hardcore nostalgia market.
But the thing is, when we talk about New Kids on the Block, I mean, they really were, we forget this, the first proper white boy band, essentially, weren't they? Of the modern era, you could
Yes,
I suppose
absolutely.
you
They
could
were started
say.
by Morris Starr, who also started New Edition, who was the first sort of, they were an all-black R&B boy band in the sort of late 70s, early 80s. And they were the first sort of, the sort of this quintet of boys, and you have the cute one, and you have the dreamy one, and you have the intellectual one. And that was the beginning of this whole thing, which has led right up to, you know, that they're still trying to create them today. So it was the beginning of this huge marketing, merchandising creation.
And you wonder exactly how much money they actually made from that. There they all were, sort of like auditioning, didn't they? A bit like, you know, X
Well, they
Factor,
used to keep them on
Pop Idol, that sort of
salaries.
thing.
Exactly, they used to keep them on not very often, not very high salaries, and they were paid. I mean, at their peak, these boys are doing 200 gigs a year, which is a huge amount of work. And I mean, judging from how, I mean, I don't know. Presumably, the money might have something to do with the fact that they're getting back together. So I don't know how much money they would have made from the 70 million albums they sold.
But it's not just nostalgia this time, because they're writing some new music, I believe. Do you think it's going to attract new fans, or is people who are going to
That's
go
where
to
it gets tricky, because take that. At first, they came back and they sang all the stuff that people recognise, and that went down very well. And then they sang new stuff, and that also went down very well. I was quite surprised by that. So I think you have to do the nostalgia well, and then convince people that you can still sing and dance.